Well, welcome to the B1G1 Worthy Cause interview series. My name is Wayne Schmidt. I'm really lucky to be interviewing the CEO of Rainforest Rescue, Branden Barber, and César Barbosa, the event engagement coordinator. Started so well. I started strong, trailed out at the end. Hey, thank you guys. Really good to have you on. And part of this series is B1G1 is interviewing all our worthy causes, and we want to get an understanding from a member's perspective, such as myself, Wayne Schmidt, about what your worthy causes does, the impacts you're making, what it is like on the ground there. So without further ado, Branden, tell us a little bit about Rainforest Rescue.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
All right. So Rainforest Rescue, somebody's got to do it, right? Obviously, what we do is we're out there protecting rainforest. Our primary focus is rainforest in far north Queensland's Daintree Rainforest, which is the longest continuously evolving rainforest on the planet. You think the Amazon is cool, and it is. The Amazon is amazing. It is between 60 and 70 million years old, whereas the Daintree has been doing its thing for as many as 185 million years. So very impressive in terms of the capacity and longevity around evolution. And the Daintree has living examples of plants and some animals that you'll only find in the fossil record in other parts of the world. The Daintree is Australia's most biodiverse, and it's Australia's largest rainforest. So why does it need rescuing? Governments go through changes, things happen. At one point, it was thought, let's develop the lower Daintree. The upper Daintree has been made into a national park. That other very rich area between the national park and the Great Barrier Reef, not that there would be any obvious relationship between those two entities, of course. We'll develop that. And they started subdividing, and they put in an airport, and it was all this great big development hopes and dreams that fortunately didn't really come to pass. A lot of people did buy blocks. There are plenty of houses, and there are a lot of houses being built, but you're not seeing the kind of expansion that the developers were looking for. However, our job is to try to reduce the impact of humans in the area, and we do that by buying back blocks of endemically pristine rainforest and connecting those blocks together. Hopefully there's always connectivity to the national park or to other established nature reserves with connectivity to the national park. And we stitch them together to increase the footprint of the habitat that enhances and supports the vast biodiversity of the amazing Daintree Rainforest. And we've done 34 rescues in the Daintree so far. We have 4 wildlife corridors, and we also do restoration work. And the first big restoration project we do, normally we would maybe rehabilitate what had been a house pad and a road that would have been developed. But then we started taking on bigger projects, and there was a businessman once upon a time who was a bit infamous in Australia. His name was Christopher Skase. And anyway, great property developer, and he established an oil palm nursery up in the Daintree in order to landscape Port Douglas, which is a very well-to-do, very beautiful part of far north Queensland on the coast. Anyway, once they had finished with that land just went to ruin, and Rainforest Rescue stepped in, bought that land, and rehabilitated it, and it's an 80-acre block, beautiful, and it is now in the process of being turned into an official nature refuge. So that was a really well-celebrated project that not too long ago, Landline, which is a popular show here in Australia, did a profile on the property and the project. So we're pretty excited that it's getting some positive press, and it'll be even better once it's established as a nature refuge.
So when did you start this? How long ago?
Well, Rainforest Rescue started 21 years ago. It was born of the same mind. There's a wonderful man. His name's Dr. Tony Parks. Recently received the Order of Australia for his lifetime of working for nature and particularly rainforest ecology. Tony started a group up in the Northern Rivers near Byron Bay called Big Scrub Land Care Group. And Big Scrub's job was to help restore the Big Scrub rainforest, which you'll see many tiny remnants of, some larger remnants of, all across New South Wales and up into Queensland. And their focus is to help do land care and restorative, regenerative work. But then Tony also said, well, let's do something for far north Queensland's Daintree, and that most magnificent, that jewel in Australia's crown of biodiversity and habitat. So Rainforest Rescue was born, and in addition to the work that we've been doing in the Daintree since we began, we also have partnered with organizations in other countries around the world to help support their efforts to protect rainforest. And we also have a large block of protected rainforest in Tasmania.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes. I remember that. Wow. I mean, César, you're just down the bottom here. If you unmute yourself, because I feel like we've had all this focus on Branden, typical CEOs. It's all about
Look, I'm happy to, I'm going to go get a drink. I'll be back.
César, tell me about you. What's your role there?
Well, I'm engagement coordinator, which, engagement is the kind of key word. It's about relationships. It's about connecting with all our supporters and donors, and I guess bridging that gap between the organisation and sort of the people, and I don't know, just kind of cultivating those relationships. I mean, I enjoy talking to people, and I enjoy that aspect of things. In my previous role was a similar sort of fundraising position, where very much looking after the people, and it's all about talking to them, and they really inspire me, actually, and I just find that probably the most sort of nourishing aspect of this kind of work, connecting with the people that actually care about the environment and actually care about the sort of wildlife within it, and also not being Australian, doing something like this very much kind of the sort of the fulfillment aspect that I get from actually contributing to local sort of the people and Australia as a whole is just a huge kind of empowering side of it, being a foreigner but living in this country.
How's the process work for people that are wanting to help your worthy cause?
So can I just throw something in here that I think is really key? So we're a very small organization. There's really only 2 full-time employees, and then 1 part-time employee who's a permanent part-time employee, and then 3 other folks who do limited hours as contractors. And together we work to both identify properties that fit the bill, that fit our profile, assess those properties to make sure that they are ecologically at a high enough level that it's worth it's worth it to protect it. There's only so much you can do. So we always make sure that the properties that we do go for are rich in endemic species, and it's always sought to find a property that has rare species or endangered species, of which there are quite a few in the Daintree. The Daintree has 42 endangered animal species and 144 different endangered plant species, and you'll find them. It's not that big a rainforest, so it's pretty sure that you're going to find them. So once we find those properties, we have to raise money in order to protect them. So a big part of what we do is advocacy, reaching out to people in the world. Advocacy is the wrong word. It's more. We're all ambassadors for the rainforest, and we're engaging people, and that's why César's our engagement coordinator. We're engaging people to join us in protecting this land by supporting us with their financial energy. And we do volunteer events. We have a big volunteer tree planting every year up in the Daintree. Last year, we got a group of 100+ people together and planted over 3,000 trees in a morning. And it's all about community engagement, raising funds in order to turn at-risk properties that are unprotected into protected nature reserves that are connected to the national park and provide greater connectivity and habitat for endangered and endemic species. And the only way that we can really be successful is with our community and with people who care about rainforests. So the day-to-day of Rainforest Rescue is a lot about supporting the mission of protecting rainforest and restoring rainforest through community, through fundraising, through communicating and educating people around the world through our different channels.
You were chatting to a B1G1 member like myself, what would your pitch be to me on, why Rainforest Rescue?
Okay, basically, we're talking about Australia's pride and
Mm.
the world's, you could say the world's oldest rainforest, but that would be missing the deep time lineages that connect the Daintree to the fossil record and forests around the world. But let's just say the Daintree was here first, and it's still going. And it's Australia's most biodiverse forest, and it's Australia's largest rainforest. It is directly related to the Great Barrier Reef in terms of a symbiotic relationship. The reef helps create the weather and the moisture that helps the rainforest grow, and the rainforest sends clean water filtered back onto the reef, as one example. So what Rainforest Rescue is doing is helping to protect, buy back from development, the unprotected Daintree that was left for development outside of the National Park World Heritage Area. Now, that World Heritage Area is a World Heritage Area. It's not just for Australia. It's like the world knows this is special. But what about this other part of the Daintree? Looks just like that upper Daintree. You're right, it is. It just happened to fall outside of that protection. So we are trying to extend the footprint of the Daintree to increase the habitat, to protect the biodiversity, and to nurture the fauna and flora of the area that are so unique. And the Daintree is, you could consider it the world's refugia when it comes to where life really began, where it spread from. But the Daintree is worth saving. And Australia, above all, should be concerned about protecting the rare, amazing animals that exist only here, like the Bennett's tree kangaroo, the spotted-tailed quail, the Lemuroid ring-tailed possum, the eastern cassowary. It's a crazy place up there, and it's magical, and it should be something that people appreciate, and it should not be something that people develop beyond its ability to thrive.
I really do want to thank you, because this series of interviews that we're doing with B1G1 Worthy Causes is to get people like myself, the other side, to get an understanding of what the cause is, and even now I'm leaving now with a much deeper appreciation of the work that you do, and some of the long-term strategies that you do, and also the short-term, which is sometimes the tree plantings and some of the things you can see immediate, but then there's all these back-end things that you're looking at properties and figuring out which one is best and how you can get this corridor connected. So it's amazing work you're doing. So first of all, from me, I want to say thank you. It's amazing what you're doing. Like, one of the things is, okay, I'd like to leave on this note. So what would you like as a final message to all the B1G1 members? What would you like to say, Branden?
Thank you. Thank you for caring enough to spend time watching this. If you've made it this far, sign up on our email list. Get in touch with us. Really grateful for your attention. And, the best part of this work are the relationships that you develop with people who care. And it's the thing we all have in common. And for us, that's nature. So being in a position to advocate on behalf of nature, to step in and protect nature, but to do that with, this community of people who, have our back, who are a part of it. I mean, look behind César. That was last year's tree planting. We had, I think, 150 people show up to plant over 3,000 trees in a morning. So anyway, I think it all comes back to, I feel very fortunate to be able to do this work. I think it's so deeply meaningful, and I'm grateful for you sharing your time with us today and your expertise and your channel to tell people about this work that we believe is so important. So really, my message is thanks. Thank you very much.
And once again, thank you so much, Branden and César. It was really good to have you on this video series, and I really appreciate what you're doing. From the B1G members, I want to say thank you, and keep up the fantastic work, and keep protecting that environment that's so precious. So yes, let's keep protecting the oldest rainforest on the planet. So please, give now. Thank you.